Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show here on YouTube. I was feeling kind of sick this week, so I didn't really get a whole lot done. But over the weekend, I did go to Toy Pizza Expo in Beacon, New York. And today we're just going to go over some of the stuff that I picked up there. So let's check it out and see what I got.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
So, welcome back to the show, and the first thing I'm going to show off is actually something I got at Toy Pizza Expo last year when it was still Toy Pizza Con. This is a custom-made Horde Trooper. I got this from a guy on Instagram who goes by DSN1014. I'll put his Instagram page up now. And the reason why I'm putting this up and talking about this is something I got last year, but this is a resin printed and hand painted Horde Trooper that does allow for some movement because all these joints are magnetic. And he was at the show this year, and I know he watches the channel. I really love this Horde Trooper. I love all things Horde. I've talked about that before. But I meant to go back to his booth this year. He had a custom show figure that was based off the original Diaclone, like vehicle drivers. And I meant to go back to his booth and pick one up. I did one lap around the show, and I was there with my wife and my son, and what ultimately happened was my son started getting kind of antsy, so we left and I didn't get to do a second lap. And I felt bad about that. So I did want to give him a shout out because he had some great stuff, and I got to reach out to him to see if I can still maybe pick up one of the figures from the show because I thought it was really, really cool and something neat. Now, going on to some of the stuff I did acquire at the show this year, there was a dig bin where someone had some cheap action figures, and for a long time I have been following the work of Toy Otter on Instagram, and I am especially intrigued by his custom Secret Wars figures that he does. And while I've never owned any before, I did find some for relatively cheap in a dig bin. These cost me $5 each, and we all know how much I love Secret Wars. I've talked about it, although I haven't really ever shown off my Secret Wars collection. I do make some custom Secret Wars figures, but I am not the best customizer. None of mine are ever for resale or anything, but Toy Otter puts out some amazing limited run type of figures, so I did pick up 3. The first 2 were loose like this, so you see it is a Ghost Rider and a very classic costume that would fit his look from Secret Wars, and if he were to be made in the Secret Wars toy line. And one thing that I was afraid of, actually, when I got this figure, his joints were very, very loose, but I think it was because he was in the hot car, in the hot sun all day. So now this figure is actually quite tight. He's not floppy or anything. And this is going to be a great addition to my Secret Wars shelf. There's also a Professor Xavier, as he would have, from a costume he could have worn in the 80s. And just looks really, really cool. I got these 2 guys for $5 each, and I was so thrilled about that. Just a really cool thing. As I said, I love Secret Wars, so this made me very happy. I also picked up from that same seller, not in a dig bin, but there was a carded Toy Otter Bullseye. And one of the things I love about the way Toy Otter presents the Secret Wars figures is they're carded just like an original, like vintage Secret Wars card. You can kind of see it here. I'm just pushing it back a little bit, but it's resealable, so I could open this up and take it out. In fact, I'm going to. But you can see there are in this series a Mr. Fantastic, Xavier, Bullseye, Deadpool, Silver Surfer, Vision, Punisher, and Ghost Rider. So just some really neat stuff. But if I'm going to open this up, as like I said, it's all resealable. It's very collector friendly. So I'm just going to slide it back. There is you're seeing it upside down, but there's a comic on there, just like the old Secret Wars figures had. And if I take out the insert here, there is a beautiful, I didn't realize he had holes on his feet for a stand. Do they all have holes on their feet? They do. Look at that. There are holes on their feet. So if I ever get stands, they can stand nicely because of their holes there. But anyway, if I take Bullseye out, here is Bullseye, and it's coming through very good in person. It looks like it's coming through on camera. He is not just a flat black. There is a little bit of blue shine to him as well, and the paintwork on these things are just incredible. These look like figures that could have been made from Mattel during the run of the original Secret Wars figures, which is why I like them just so much. Like I said, I customize stuff, but I am not the best customizer, so having this this is just so cool to me. So they are going to all be living on my Secret Wars shelf. And one of the other really cool things with this is Toy Otter goes as far to give like shield inserts. So if I wanted to take one of my old Secret Wars shields, I could put these in and treat them like they are the lenticulars from the old Secret Wars. And I like how this one is printed to look like it is actually a Secret Wars shield and it's just a piece of plastic. So that is very neat. I'm going to move the card back out of the way. And I'm going to continue with some of the other stuff that I got at Toy Pizza Expo. Now, I'm pulling things out of my bag here, so I apologize for this. One thing I got, I was very excited for, is of course I'm a fan of Secret Galaxy here on YouTube, and Dan Larson had one of his original characters, Darkhawk, no relation to the Marvel character, for sale. I knew he was going to be selling this figure at the show, so I put some money aside to make sure I picked this up. But it does come with a card slicer character card. So if you play the card slicer game, you get a the Darkhawk card. This figure is glass compatible, and I didn't realize he is polybagged. So I'm going to cut the bag open real quick and open him up for you. All right, so with everything opened up, here is the figure. I'll put them together for you, but this is what I got out of the package. It is, like I said, is glass compatible, so these arms can pop off just like that, and you can pop in other arms if you need to. The Glio system is something I've kind of been getting into recently, and I really like how you can really make your own kind of custom characters, some of which are in like very different scales too, but they still look neat. So I'm just going to put his legs on real quick. Come on. There we go. So here is the Darkhawk as he comes out of the package. He does have this weapon hand that is it is a pizza cutter. You can make that his weapon if you want. You can swap the hand out. That's relatively simple. You just pull the hand off and then put this on in its place, which is neat considering it comes from Toy Pizza Expo. Toy Pizza, why not have a Toy Pizza slicer? But I'm going to put the regular hand back on, and there's an alternate head for this figure. And what you do for that is just obviously pop this head off. Ooh, there we go. This collar piece is removable as well, I think. Is it not? It feels like it is. Maybe it's not. I thought it was. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it. There is like a scarf piece. See, this is why I think this other piece is removable, because, hang on, I'm going to pry it off. Hang on. Well, never mind. I can't get that piece off, so we're going to forget I tried to do that, but I am going to put the Darkhawk head on here. The joints are tight, as you can tell. There we go. So there is the second figure that Secret Galaxy has featured in any toy line. This is, as I said, the Darkhawk. Comes with other pieces. There is this sash here, of course, this head, and this pizza slicer. Very cool stuff. Like I said, I don't have a lot of this stuff, but I've been getting into more and more of the Glios compatible stuff. So I was happy to buy this, especially to support Dan Larson, who is, Secret Galaxy is one of my favorite YouTube channels. So stands pretty well with Secret Wars figures. A little shorter, but maybe, just a regular kind of person as opposed to a super powered individual on your shelf. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, let's keep going to see what else I got. One thing I got that I was very surprised to get was one designer had some custom ties, and I got this really cool Godzilla tie. I wear ties at work. I'm always looking for pop culture relevant ties, so this is a tie that apparently just says Godzilla. God, I hope that's what that says, with a cool Godzilla picture on it. So maybe not the most exciting thing, and definitely not a toy, but still neat. Now, last year, or for a while now, I have been following MechZone on Instagram. He did a lot of really cool Battle Beast art, and I actually have some Battle Beast art shirts that he put out. He was at the show. I didn't know he was going to be at the show, and I was wearing one of his Battle Beast shirts, which led to a great conversation that I had with him. But aside from getting some stickers of his Battle Beast, which I'll show off, he also gave me a copy of his art book, which, let me just kind of move the camera real quick so you can see it. There we go. This looks really, really neat. I dig his art a lot, and I'm not going to go through too much of it because I don't want to copyright infringement or nothing, but there is some neat stuff in this book, some very cool art. He is currently working on a video game that should be playable on old video game consoles like Sega. And he had a proof of concept at the show. It looked really, really cool, and the designs for the game were absolutely fantastic. So follow MechZone on Instagram. If you don't, I think it will be very much worth your while, and I think you'll probably find something that you like, some work of his that hopefully you think is very cool. As I did mention, he actually here is his card, by the way. So there is MechZone, MechaZone. Sorry, I've been saying MechZone this whole time. But he, as I said, he gave me some really, really cool Battle Beast stickers. So we have the Battle Beast deer, and the duck, and the snake, and the giraffe, and Leader 1 from GoBots, the octopus, the elephant, the bat, and this is Gilgamesh. This is the game that MechaZone is working on, a character from that game. So, check that out. There it is, patreon.com/MechaZone. I definitely advise you to check out his art, his work. He is a very cool guy to talk to as well. I had probably a 20-minute long conversation with him while I was at the show. We are going to bounce back to Secret Galaxy for a moment. Now, Secret Galaxy put out a Mighty Maniacs figure, and in collaboration with Mighty Maniacs, a figure a little while ago. And I got this very quickly. I really like this, and this kind of got me into Mighty Maniacs. I have more of those now in my collection than I thought I would. But at the show, Dan Larson was selling a weapons upgrade to his Mighty Maniacs figure. So you could buy either the upgrade and the figure at the show, or just the upgrade itself. So I paid for the upgrade at the show, and it has some neat stuff. Now, there are these little tiny red tabs. These are apparently for the Glio system. You can make stuff more compatible if it's not, I believe. I'm still learning about this stuff. So we got a new head with this, which looks super cool. I do like the head that this came with. It came with 3 heads originally, I want to say, but I really like the head that I have on here. But just to show you what the other head looks like, of course, like I said, you just pull it off, and you can stick the new head on. And I'm going to keep it on for some more of this as I talk about this, because that does look pretty neat. And this looks kind of like a pilot's head or something, and that is very appropriate because there is this backpack, which looks like it could be some type of jetpack. And it just so happens that there are these 2 wings that you can stick on this backpack. That I'm going to stick on this backpack. Now, I have them in a look like this, but these wings do articulate. So if you wanted to put them up like this, almost like like a Seeker might have in Transformers, and then you can take this backpack and stick it on the back of the Secret Galaxy Mighty Maniacs figure. Just got to peg it in. There we go. It's almost in. Hang on. There we go. So now he has a very cool jetpack. And like I said, you can switch this any way you want. You could put it down and you can flip the wings. However you want to display it. I kind of like it with the back sticking up because it reminds me of some Seekers from Transformers. Also has... Now, I love that this figure came with a Nintendo-looking blaster and a Power Glove. Like a Power Glove-looking hand. But there are 2 other weapon upgrades for this thing, so you can give him this gigantic sword and this other large blaster. It kind of reminds me of the old laser tag guns, if you remember the laser tag blasters. And of course, guns and weapons are very easy. You just take them out of the hand, put them in. I really like the way the sword looks. So he'll probably be holding this sword. Part of me is thinking I should have bought a second one of these figures so that I could have one that came with the Nintendo blaster and the Power Glove, and then one that is all armored up and stuff. I may have to reach out to Dan Larson. Anyway, it looks very, very cool. I really do like this, and this line has become a neat line that I've quickly gained a lot of interest in. There was actually a Mighty Maniacs Kickstarter that wrapped up a couple weeks ago that I backed. So expect some Mighty Maniacs reviews in the future, just because I really like them. So yeah, so what else did I get? That's almost everything. I do have, let's see, there's more in my bag. I know there is. Just some more stuff from a dig bin. I got these two old school X-Men figures. These were the Monster Armor figures. I got a Mystique with her Monster Armor. One that I had as a kid, actually. And I just bought these because I like that you can stick all this armor on them and make them like monster people, monster mutants. I think it just snaps on. There we go, yeah. So the armor just kind of snaps on and makes them somewhat monstrous looking. For Mystique, you could argue that she's just shape-shifting into whatever this is, and that it's not actually armor. Let's get this on. Come on. Like I said, I had this one as a kid, so I should remember how to put everything on. Oop, come on. Ugh. Why can't I get the mask on? There we go. I remember buying this as a kid and being excited because it was the first and only Mystique figure that had been made at the time. So I was happy to have a Mystique figure. I never really displayed her with the monster armor because I never really thought I needed it. Conversely, or secondly, I also got a Monster Armor Cyclops, who I'm going to break out in just a second here. This would be Cyclops in his Jim Lee costume with a, I don't know, permanent Gene yelling face. You know, yelling Gene. But kind of had cool articulation for the time with these arms. The legs were kind of, no real knee bend. I remember this was towards the end of like the Toy Biz days, when we were getting some wonky articulation and some weird features on these characters. I believe there is a Mr. Sinister, a Rogue, and a Wolverine in the Monster Armor line that I kind of want to track down now. And maybe I'll just display them around Halloween time. But Cyclops turns into like a Cyclops monster. And let's see, it looks like we get this. This one I didn't own as a kid, so I really don't know everything or too much about this one. But just snapping all the pieces on, it looks like this one goes here. Yeah, these gimmicks got a little wild in the 90s, I gotta be honest. And he has this crazy headpiece that makes him this. Can you see the eyeball? This like Cyclops monster. These would be like good Halloween decorations. I don't know anyone as a kid who, at least no one I knew, who had these figures and treated them like they were actual X-Men turned into monsters. I mean, with Mr. Sinister in the line, I suppose you could say he experimented on characters and made them turn into monsters, but kind of a neat retro pickup. Like I said, maybe something to display around Halloween in these kooky kind of get-ups, but kind of makes me want to track down the rest of the line. You know, I had so many of the original Toy Biz Marvel figures line, so many of the X-Men, that when I eventually sold them because I was buying Marvel Legends and I figured, oh, this is the way my collection is going to go. Looking back now, 15 years later, if not more, I actually kind of regret it. I had almost everybody, and I feel like it would have been easier to complete that collection over the years than to keep buying Marvel Legends. And is there anything else I thought I had? Oh, I do have one more thing. I have one more thing that I picked up, and it would be a Plunder Strong. The Plunderlings team was there, and I think I have to clear everything off. You know, I'm just going to pick up the camera again so you can see. I did pick up a Plunderling, Plunder Strong. Plunderlings are a neat toy line that every time I see them at a show, I tend to pick one up. They are a lot of fun, and there's a lot of customizable options here. So I'm going to take this Plunder Strong out of the package real quick. I'm just going to pause and take it all out so that you can see everything that this guy comes with. All right, and this is the Berserker Mango Plunderling. This is a Plunder Strong. They have a couple different types of Plunderlings now. There's your base Plunderlings. They have the Plunder Longs, who are kind of lanky ones, and they have these big ones, the Plunder Strongs. And the Plunderlings articulation is just fantastic, especially on the Plunder Strongs. Like, there is ab crunch here, and you could barely tell that joint is there. It just moves very seamlessly. Of course, the arms rotate and move up and down. There's calf rotation. There's single joint bend at the elbow for these guys. Hands rotate, as well as bend, and the first time you get them out of the package, these joints are stiff. So I don't want to potentially break anything, but they do move. You can see the joint there. I promise you they move. This one I must have loosened before, so it does move. I love the armor on this guy, and of course, sorry, I forgot to go down below here, but he has got legs. They kick out, they move around. Is there rotation here at the bottom of the short? I don't think so. I don't want to risk breaking that, but there is double jointed knee, which is impressive considering how big these guys are. The feet move up and down, and there is tilt on these, so there's quite a bit of movement on these guys. They are neat. I have a shelf kind of built out with a whole bunch of these guys, and one thing that I love is the amount of accessories that these guys come with. So I'm going to move the Berserker just kind of back here for a moment, and I'll show off some of his accessories. He does have 2 additional heads. There is a yelling head and just like an angry head. There's also this helmet, which has a magnet in it. You can see it there. And the heads have a magnet inside of them, so you can drop this head on, and it magnets into place, and then just, stays pretty well. Like, it's not going to fall off unless you pull it off. So you can give him this cool kind of battle mask. I kind of like that on the angry head. I'll probably be putting that on in a moment. And just to show you how the swap works, like anything else, pops off at the ball joint, and then you can just put the new head on like this, so that stays nice and secure. He also came with a bag of these little, I don't know if they're like earrings almost, but they look pretty neat. I would assume they're earrings that can maybe clip onto his ears. I'm not probably going to put those on camera just because I don't want them to get lost. There were 2 small fists. These were probably for if you have any other mango plunderlings. They will fit nicely on them. There's also this big honkin' axe that he comes with. I love this thing. Didn't know it was included until I opened up the package. Really cool. Kind of sharp too, so just be careful if you have these. And then he does have 2 gripping hands. So there are hands like this. And, you can just have him grip the axe if you want. Like this. And then, of course, as you would expect, the hands do pop off. You can swap out the hands. I'm definitely going to have him holding an axe because that does look really, really cool. So I'm just going to move my plunderling over here for a moment. And, yeah, that does it for what I picked up at Toy Pizza Expo. If you are ever in the Beacon area when Toy Pizza Expo was going on, I highly suggest that you check it out. It was a lot of fun. And I had a really good time and spent a hell of a lot more than I think I meant to. But check out Secret Galaxy, of course. Check out Mighty Maniacs. Check out Plunderlings. Check out the Knights of the Slice and everybody else who I mentioned today. Make sure you do all that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I've been Dan. You've been pretty awesome. And I'll see you around. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, there we go. What did you think of this video? Sound off in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Remember, we are making a push to get to 700 subscribers here on the channel. If we do that before the HasLab Giant Man arrives, I will be giving away the old Toy Biz Giant Man Build-A-Figure that you've seen on my shelf and things like that. So hit subscribe, leave a comment, hit like if you're so inclined, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Come get